Good morning, Soapbox Nation. Hey, thank you for joining me for episode 107 of Soapbox Daily. Hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thanks for joining me today on this terrific Tuesday. I don't know. It's been an interesting week so far for me personally. How has your week been? How's your integrity been so far this week? How's your integrity today? Are you being the positive change? Are you being the positive change that the world needs? Only you will know that answer, but today's a brand new day. And hey, every single day, onwards and upwards, try to be the best you can be. So today I'm kind of reflecting on an issue that happened yesterday when I went to a nice sports bar called The Cage. And I was there for family reasons to offer support to somebody who was going through a rough time. And, you know, it was good. It was good service. It's my second time I've been there. It was a really great place. But, you know, as much as my evening was, it was kind of bothersome when the end of the night. And I mean, I appreciate good service. I've been in customer service for well over 20 years. I understand what it's like. I've worked in the service industry. I know how hard it can be. And people don't realize that if they haven't worked in the service industry of any sort, whether it be a waiter or waitress, service industry it comes in different fashions, but the most common one is restaurant workers, people that work in the restaurant or bar industry. And that's a tough job. It's a really tough job. And if you've never done it, you don't understand. And I implore you to try to, you know, empathize with people that actually work in that. I mean, they're on their feet, go. They're trying to make everybody happy. There's not just one table. There's groups of tables and people and everything. And it's a tough job. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Why is tipping so important? That's our topic for today for episode 107. And it's I'll tell you, the end of my day, the end of my evening, and amazing service, as I mentioned, I basically looked at our server and I said, listen, what would be best for you? Would you like straight up cash for your tip, or would you like me to put it into the machine? And of course, the politeness and professionalism of this young man was like, well, whatever works for you. You know, it wasn't putting pressure on me. He was being courteous and professional. I mean, excellent guy. And I said honestly, would cash be better? And, you know, he said, yeah, it would. I'm like, all right, cool. Excellent, cash it is. And that was it. I wanted to make sure that he was getting that money because of how hard he worked. And then he opened up to us and he was explaining to me about a table that was right behind us, that these three individuals of I guess you can't really call them minority anymore because they seem to be the majority, but they were, you know, recognized as I guess at one point as being a visual minority. What really bugs me is these people had three separate checks, were ordering stuff by the boatloads. They were ordering rounds of shots, just wanting to be catered to left, right, and center. And our server admitted to us that these people didn't even tip a single dime. Now, this waiter did a professional job, catered to them, even poured the shots themselves because the bartender was not available. Went the distance. These people left a mess. They were rowdy and they were just milking it for all it was worth. And that really frustrated me that they didn't leave a single dime. Now, here's my thing, and this is why I'm going to stress this. Listen, if in your culture that's not something new, that's something that you don't do, then fine. That's your culture. If you go visit somewhere, understand what the culture and customs are, okay? That's what you should learn. You should understand service workers, people that work in the service industry, especially in bars, they live off their tips. They need those tips to survive because they don't make it up in their paycheck. It's the tips that keep them going because the motivation is here you get a base pay and your tips based on the amount of service and the good service that you provide will, of course, justify your paycheck. And that's fine. That's the way the industry is. Everybody knows this when they get into it. But us as patrons, us that actually visit these establishments should recognize that, should know that culture, because you know what? If somebody gives you great service and you don't reciprocate, you look like an asshole. You do. You look like an asshole. An uncivilized, uncultured, unclassy asshole. Tips should never be demanded. This is true. They should never be demanded. The amount should not be picked on. It's more so the gesture, even making something of a reasonable amount based on the service that you got. It needs to be done. Otherwise, you're just a big jerk. You really are. Oh, I know prices are expensive, but you know what? That young man, his car just got totaled. He needs a brand new car. He has his own struggles, just like everybody else. And you just basically, one, really put a black mark on his evening. Two, you made yourself look like an asshole. This group of two men and a woman made themselves look like really uncivilized, unclassy assholes. And I don't know if these people have a chip on their shoulder. I don't know if they have some political views when it comes to tipping. I don't know if they were just cheap bastards that frankly are uncivilized, uncultured, and frankly are trying to stick it to everybody else because they feel that their life is too rough and, they've been persecuted. I don't know what their deal was, but I'm here to tell you, don't be these assholes like at the table that I saw that got waited on hand and foot and they couldn't even leave a simple little tip, right? But they were engorging themselves. Having a great old time. Oh, it was despicable to see them, but I couldn't imagine being the actual service, the waiter that was taking care of them. I mean, honestly, wow. Anyways, the importance of tipping is important, okay? It is important. You have to keep that in mind. It's the incentive for the waiters, waitresses, and people in the service industry to actually get better service, okay? I mean, they're paid sometimes less than minimum wage, and they need that money. So recognize that, right? Recognize that. Otherwise, you should be damn embarrassed. And you should learn, one, culture, learn some class, learn some how to be civilized, learn how to be treating other people in society, and have some integrity. Have some integrity to realize people work hard too. And, appreciate that. Show some appreciation. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this. I mean, I could rant on this all day because I've worked in the service industry and I know how much it sucks. I've known people that have worked in the service industry, still work in the service industry, and it sucks. They don't want to be there. They're there to earn a living, okay? And if part of that equation is the tipping based on the service that they give you, you should recognize that. And I strongly believe, I hope karma comes around to these people that cannot see beyond themselves because their head's so far up their ass that they just think the world owes them something, because it doesn't owe them anything. We all are in this together, my friends. Keep that in mind. All right. Tip your waiters and waitresses and your service workers, anybody that provides you a service. If tipping is the norm, if the service was good, give them a tip. Give them a tip, and reasonable. Don't insult them with a penny. Don't insult them with stupidity. That just makes yourself look like a complete jerk. It really does. It looks bad on you. It really does. And they have a job to do. I understand that. Oh, and they're getting a paycheck. Okay, that's great. But you got to understand how the dynamic works. Culture yourself. Educate yourself. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to wrap this up for today. Hey, I'm your host, Mad Morgan. And speaking of which, hey, if you're feeling so inclined, check out getoffmysoapbox.com for more information on all our shows and the FAQ section. I really appreciate that if you could. Or check us out on Twitter at MadSoapbox and give me your feedback. Hey, if you want to yell at me, if you have a disagreement, by all means, share it. I want to hear it. Let me know what you think. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm going from one of logic and experience. But what's your views on that? I'd love to hear from you. So have yourself a tremendous day moving forward. Please keep your integrity in check, and I will see you next episode.